Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday. It is the 28th day of December 2021. I hope you're healthy and COVID free today. I hope your family is healthy also and COVID free, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, and health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and first responders trying to save lives. Blessings upon those also that pick up garbage for us to keep our streets and sidewalks clean. Blessings upon those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to help deliver and rescue the victims of prostitution, of child prostitution, of child molestation, the victims of pornography and child pornography, the victims of pedophilia, the victims of human trafficking, the victims also of sexual slavery. Blessings upon those trying to help deliver and rescue these victims and recover them. And double curses upon the perpetrators. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. 600,000 men, women, and children in the United States living on the streets today. Millions around the world through the natural disasters, economic catastrophes, and so forth that are on the streets without a roof over their head. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom and those trying to help. There's going to be a basketball game. At least there's a basketball game scheduled to be played today in Minnesota between the New York Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. It is the first of 4 games on the road for the Knicks, I believe. I know they played 3 on the road tonight. They played Tuesday. They played Thursday, I believe, and they are playing Sunday. Let me just double check that, but I think that is the case. And I think they're all on the road. So they start tonight with the Timberwolves, and then they're going to Detroit. It's a back-to-back. So they play tonight against Minnesota, and then tomorrow against the Pistons, back-to-back, and then Friday against Oklahoma City, and then Sunday against Toronto. 4 games, and it's all on the road, and they're all this week. So you would look at this. In fact, I had looked at this earlier and thought it might be a tough schedule because of, those teams. First of all, Minnesota was greatly improved before this COVID virus hit them hard. Of course, Toronto has already beaten us. And then Oklahoma City and Detroit, up and coming young teams. And being that it's a road trip, you can expect some difficulty. But the situation has greatly changed. Minnesota is missing all of its key players. Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. They're missing all of their key players because of the health and safety protocols. Detroit is missing Cade Cunningham. Oklahoma City, I'm not sure who they're missing, but again, they're a young team. And then Toronto, they played a game the other night and got beat, but their real team wasn't there. Everybody's on health and safety protocol. And so the Knicks had also been missing, as you know, a number of players due to health and safety protocol, but we're starting to get our guys back. Okay. Now, the most significant player missing right now is Deuce McBride. I had expected between Sunday and yesterday, we'd have gotten an announcement that he's no longer in health and safety protocol because it would have been 10 days. But they did not make that announcement, and I don't want to speculate as to why it is, but he's not out of health and safety protocols. Now, what does that mean? He's not going to be available for this road trip. Once you're in health and safety protocols, you are quarantined. So now you cannot travel with the team. So this road trip, he's not going to be available. Now, that's interesting. But before I get into why that's interesting, let's talk about the way things are right now. So Kemba Walker is the starting point guard, as we know. It's Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. That's your starting 5. We're still trying to get our bench back together after we've been decimated ourselves by the health and safety protocols of the coronavirus, the variant. But we have Obi Toppin back. We have Quentin Grimes back. We're now getting Emmanuel Quickly back. We have Taj Gibson also. And so we have a pretty good core of our bench. We're missing Derrick Rose, but that's, as we know, that's ankle surgery. And Alec Burks we have also, who was returned to the second unit against Atlanta. Now, this being the case, there's one tweak. Now, we've discussed ad nauseum why Deuce McBride should be starting. But I'm not going to discuss that today because it's not going to happen, at least not yet. It may still happen soon, and we'll go into that in a minute. But it's not going to happen right now. This road trip is going to be Kemba Walker as your starting point guard. Hopefully nobody goes into health and safety protocols during this trip. That will complicate things. But assuming we will be okay there, there's a way to shore up the defense with Kemba Walker as your starting point guard. You have to, again, we talked about this in terms of the formula that has been used in the past with a Larry Brown and Allen Iverson in Philadelphia, and with a Mike Woodson with a Carmelo Anthony during the 54-win season in New York. And that is, surround your offensive player with 4 good defenders. Okay? And so in this case, I would suggest, and it might happen, that Evan Fournier be put in the second unit and Quentin Grimes be promoted to the starting wing. Quentin Grimes is one of the better wing defenders that we have on New York's Knicks. Probably one of the better defenders, period, but definitely a wing defender. So if you have him there and RJ Barrett, some of y'all have been tripping on Barrett. Don't get caught up in the foolishness, y'all. Barrett is guarding all of the top players in the NBA offensively. He's been doing it all year. When you do that, you're going to get embarrassed because that's why they are top offensive players. But in him getting embarrassed at times, he's getting better. This is him developing. Some of y'all don't want to look at the development part. You just want to see the finished product. And if it's not finished, you just say it stinks. What you're seeing is development. This is how a player gets developed. So he's turning into a very good defender overall because he has been getting spanked by good offensive players. That's good. So you're going to have 2 good wing defenders in Barrett and Grimes. All right. Now, Julius Randle, again, our problem child. We don't know what to expect from Julius Randle, but I'm going to assume we're going to get 100% effort from him. Okay? Our boy, is physically gifted. There's no question. Julius is physically gifted. But as we have seen, he doesn't always have or show the basketball IQ that we need him to have. Both ends of the ball. This happens on the defensive end also. Especially when he gets attacked in the pick and roll. He just makes the wrong decisions. He ends up playing a one-man zone and we get killed. Now, the good thing is that all of these teams we're playing have been, either young and inexperienced like Oklahoma City, and I wouldn't sleep on them with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Also with Kemba Walker being players of the week this past week. But they're all missing Minnesota, Detroit, Toronto. They're missing their best players. So it gives us a chance to overcome that deficiency if it shows up. So let's assume we're going to get 100% effort from Julius Randle. Then you got Mitchell Robinson. So now you got Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, Quentin Grimes, and RJ behind a Kemba Walker. That helps us on the defensive end a lot. Because now Kemba could get help, and that would at least alleviate the point of attack problems we might have. He's still going to get beat, but it's worse when you got him getting beat and Evan Fournier getting beat from the corner. Evan Fournier is a terrible wing defender. He is an absolutely horrible wing defender. So what do I mean by that? Well, Kemba's at the point of attack. Let's say somehow that guy gives up the rock to somebody in the wing. That guy in the wing is going to slash to the basket and go past Evan Fournier like he's standing there, like he's a cone, like was described, like Alan Hahn described it. And that's been happening all season. If we could get Quentin Grimes there, that that would not happen. That ball will be forced back to whoever Kemba's man is, and then everybody could be helping back and forth, taking turns trying to help get the ball out of the hands of whoever Kemba's guarding. Okay. And remember, so since it's a 24-second clock, if you can get them to waste, 10, 15 seconds trying to find Kemba's man and get to the weak point, if you could get them to waste that, that'll get them in a position where they have to force a shot. We'll be in a better position to play a better defense at that point. That's how you can mask a Kemba. So to me, I'm hoping Tom makes this change because he has spoken and noticed. He has said it publicly, how good of a wing defender. Even on nights where Quentin Grimes has had a couple nights where he's hit 5 or more 3-pointers, first thing Tom notices is the defense. That's the first thing he has said about that young man. He's a great wing defender. We need that. Okay. So when you have that, it will help us defensively. This is a good week to try it because of the weakness of the other teams. Now, it could be the opposite. He could put Evan out there and hope that somehow he learns how to play wing defense with these weak teams and gets in a rhythm. He could go that way. But I would go the other way and let Fournier come off the bench with the second unit. It'd be Fournier, Alec Burks, Taj Gibson, IQ, and Obi Toppin. That's what I would do because now you have him playing with the energy unit. Ball moves better, and then maybe they can mask his defensive deficiencies on the second unit, right? But I'm hoping that they use Quentin Grimes more because this is going to be key here. Because now that brings me to the second point is that because of who we're playing, we have a good opportunity to make up ground in the East right here. Very good opportunity because everybody's under this COVID. Now, they just changed it from 10 days to 6 days, apparently, so that a player only has to be quarantined for 6 days. And if they have 2 negative tests in 6 days, they're back. That's great, but that's not going to help the teams that we're playing. Okay, it's not going to help them. So we could make up some ground here. It's a good opportunity for the Knicks to make up ground, get back to 500, and then try to build from there. So that's that. Now, realistically, and I'm not trying to curse anyone, but realistically, everybody in the league at some point or another is going to get this health and safety protocol. Everybody is. It's going through everybody. Now, with the Knicks, if you recall, it started hitting us heavy after we went to Toronto. And we're going back to Toronto. In fact, I think they had to postpone the game in Toronto because there was so many teams going there and catching it. So I don't know what's going on up there, but we're going back to Toronto. And the only guys that haven't been in healthy safety protocol are Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, and Kemba Walker, and Evan Fournier. Those are only guys. And so there's a high likelihood that they may have to be quarantined at some point in the next 2 weeks, which means you're going to see Deuce and Grimes again. Okay, it's going to come back to that. It's going to. And so I'm looking at, if it does happen, I'd rather it happen now during this weak part of the schedule when we got everybody that I just named, we're going to have a guy behind them that could play. Okay, except for Mitchell. Mitchell Robinson, we don't have Nerlens Noel. He's in health and safety. And so is Sims. But hopefully by the time you get into January, when you're dealing with that first week of January next week, and then the week after that for Martin Luther King, we will have those two guys back. So that if Mitchell Robinson has to be out for 6 days, we could at least try to cover that. And then you got Obi Toppin, who could play both the 5 and the 4. And then you're getting Kevin Knox back, so we could at least try to weather the storm without having a whole bunch of 10-day contracts like some of these other teams. So we've had all of those other guys have been already through this. So if those 4 guys go down, we got backup, right? We got backup. This is where our depth will come in. So you're going to see, I still think you're going to see Deuce time sooner than later. Okay. For a couple of reasons. Number one, Kemba does still have a bad knee. He has rested for 3 weeks. And he's playing Tom. You wanted to play. So Tom playing on 40 minutes a game. Okay. I'm telling you right now, he's not going to be able to continue to do that. But as long as he can, they're going to ride him. But then Deuce is going to come back. So it's eventually going to happen. But for right now, this particular week, I would put Grimes in the starting lineup, or at least play him more minutes than you play Fournier. He played Grimes 25 minutes against the Hawks. I'd play him more minutes, play him closer to that 35 minute, and then that guy, that will help us. First of all, gets him acclimated to playing with the first unit, because he should be there anyway. And then second of all, it will shore up our defense, and you would allow Kemba to be the offensive force that he is without hurting us defensively as much as he could, So I think that's the key here. We got to put Grimes. Grimes has got to be a guy that you see more of. And to me, if that's the case, not only that, we all can see this young man can shoot the rock. The last time we had a starting two guard that could shoot like that was Allen Houston. That's the last time we had a starting two guard that could shoot the ball like that. And this young man can do that. So now we got a terrific wing defender and a shooter on the floor. So I'm predicting that you're going to see more of him. I'm just hoping Tom starts it off. We're going to see today. He will, announce whatever he's doing as far as if he's making a tweak to the starting lineup again. Though I don't think he announced Alec Burks to the second unit when Alec Burks returned to the second unit and RJ came. I don't know if he announced that, but Alec Burks is now in the second unit. I think you should see Evan Fournier in the second unit, and you should see Quentin Grimes starting. And that will help us tremendously going through here. Now, once Quentin Grimes, let's say he did start Quentin Grimes, and let's say he started him every game this week, you're not going to see him come out of the starting lineup again. It would be his. That will be his going forward. That's what I'm saying. All he's missing right now is the opportunity. That's all he's missing. He's a better basketball player than Evan Fournier. He's a better player. Okay, so you put him in the starting lineup, I believe you'll start to see more of that defensive tenacity the Knicks are known for. Because that missing piece will ignite the whole starting unit. That way right there, you're eliminating a guy that's going to cause Mitchell Robinson to play two men all night, right? It helps Julius Randle because now you got defenders around him, and he could play good defense when he wants to. So hopefully he starts putting that consistent effort in, every night. That will help us tremendously, right? And then RJ, to me, like I said, I think he's been playing good defense all year. He's been guarding the toughest players to guard in the NBA every night. That's the guy that takes the toughest guy. That's him. He's been doing it all year, okay? And I think as the year goes on, he's going to get better at it. Still a young man, still growing, still developing. And I like what I'm seeing. So, to me, if you put Quentin Grimes in there, he's not ever coming out. He's not, especially don't let him have like another 5 3-pointer game, 5 to 7 3-pointer game. Because he already had 2 in the last 8 days or something like that, 10 days. So you give him he's not coming back out, right? So this could be a good night for New York and a good week for New York. But let's see how this plays out. As far as Deuce, you probably won't see him on this road trip because he is quarantined, and so even if he passes the quarantine, he has to have some practice in. I would think you won't see him again until the Knicks are back in New York, which is after the Toronto game. They have a game at home. Where is it? They have a game at home next week, Tuesday. And that's probably when you'll see him because it gives him a chance to practice when he's out of the quarantine. If he's still in New York, he's going to be working out, going to be getting himself back. And we play Indiana next Tuesday at home. We have at that point 2 games at home: Indiana Tuesday, Boston next week Thursday, and that Boston is a home and home. So we got Boston Thursday and we got Boston Saturday night, January 8th. So hopefully he'll be back for that. He's going to be important. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be very important as we go forward. Him and IQ, very important. So, and then of course we're getting Emmanuel quickly back as well. So, we're getting back as everybody else is still sick. So it's good timing for us. And if we have to lose those 4 other guys, to Corona or to whatever the health and safety protocol, now is a good time to do it. Because we can still win through this schedule with the guys we got as backups, okay, without having to sign 10-day contracts. So that's that. Y'all please be safe out here. Enjoy the game tonight. And hopefully you'll be seeing some good things from our New York Knicks against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Again, they'll be missing Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. They're missing all of them. The star they got left is Malik Beasley at this point. And so we should, I'm not even going to say that. Let's hope we play up to our level and win this basketball game. Y'all be safe out there. Shalom.